y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend some time with us today. Andy's got some tractor work to do, and we're having beef stew tonight for supper. I'm going to show y'all how I do that.
Oh me. Well, I don't know how much y'all can tell or not, but it's kind of like nasty, dreary, misty, gloomy kind of day today. It's a little bit chilly. I mean, I'm probably dressed a little overkill for what it really is out here, but it is kind of chilly out here and damp feeling. So I'm going to work on something right now that needs to be done. Y'all watched me plug my pastures and do all that. Well, after I got done plugging the pastures, I went and sowed a field and a cover crop and everything, and I was still using this 2600 Ford at that point. And what you didn't see is I spent a whole lot of time on this 2600 right here, on this tractor here. And I am paying for that right now. My back has been so sore the last almost a week now since we done that. And I'm blaming it all on this seat right here. This seat has got no suspension in it. I mean, it's supposed to be a suspension seat, but it's broke. So there's no suspension. It's just rock bottom. There's no give to that seat at all. And my back is somewhat sensitive anyways, I guess, from riding mowers and stuff and equipment and everything over all the years. And this tractor really done a number on me. And I've had several incidences in the last few days where I've been working and about fall to my knees because my back, I'll get a catch in my back and it hurts so bad. So don't worry about me though. I'm going to hopefully get that straightened out this evening, or at least get it checked into. I've got a chiropractor's appointment this evening. But anyways, I'm going to see if I can't fix the culprit to the problem. I've got me a brand spanking new seat that's going to go on this tractor. And if I have time, I might work on a couple other things while it's nasty out here today. Let me get this tractor out from under shelter here. She is a little temperamental when it's cold outside, so it might be a little bit hard to start. Y'all, I wish I had me a workshop to work in on days like this, but for now, my workshop is my driveway. It's one of the only flat spots we got around here that I can park something on and it be sitting fairly level, and it's just right here close to the building where I keep my tools. So in this box, it's supposed to be a new seat for this tractor. And of all places, this tractor seat came from Amazon. Seems like everything I get comes off Amazon. There's the back. Now this is, I want to say, a generic seat. This ain't like a seat designed specifically for a Ford. This seat could fit any tractor out there. Or most tractors out there anyways. It's just blue because that's the color I ordered it in. So there's the back to the seat. Yep, there's the frame. So it'll mount just like that. And here's the bottom. So we should go something like that right there. So to get this seat off, I've just got to take that bolt right there out. And there's another bolt right up under there we got to take out. All right, so I have the ability to adjust this back and forth. So once I get these bolts tightened down and get the actual seat plate put on, I'll get up here and adjust all that later. Looks like I also got the ability to slide it up right here too. By moving that lever, I have to get up there. So I can be able to adjust that. Now I can adjust the pitch of this seat where it is a universal seat. You can take these bolts right here out and rock it up and down, which it looks like it's set back too far. So once we get the, I don't know, probably easier to go ahead and do that now. Let's see, we definitely don't want that seat pitched down that far. So looks like about right there is going to be right, and then we can test it once we get done with this. Let's lay this up there and see how that seems to affect it. Yeah, that looks like you're sitting about level, so that's where we'll leave it for now. Alrighty. So put those pads on, and I should feel like I got me a new tractor. I hope I do anyways. Of course, those bolts are hard to get to. Let me tell you what, when you're working in tight places, ratchet wrenches are a lifesaver. Tell y'all what, if you don't have yourself a good set of ratchet wrenches, you don't know what you're missing. These were the best things ever invented. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I picked these up at a pawn shop. I don't even think I bought them new. I believe they were in a pawn shop. Let's see what it feels like. Yeah, it definitely sits higher. But at least I've got some bounce now. My goodness. That's nice. I believe I can adjust this to my weight too, so I can soften it up. Oh yeah. I'm going to tell you, I don't expect this seat to last forever, because I can tell by the way the frame's moving around that the old Amazon specials probably made just a little bit on the cheap side. Because it does got, the frame itself does got some movement in it. Pretty bad actually. So, I may end up replacing this seat sooner than later, but it's going to be better than what I had for sure. The way it feels like it's loose on where it mounts, but it's not. It's just the seat frame itself has got some play and stuff in it. I don't know. It may last longer than I think it will. But hey, if I can get just a few years out of it, I'll be doing good. I know these aftermarket tractor seats, they don't never seem to really last that long anyways. First time I ever got one off Amazon though. So, we'll see. I think it's all going to be all right. The cushions itself could be just a little bit softer. But you see that? See how much play we got there? It shouldn't be that way. But like I said, what do you expect for, I want to say it was 89 bucks on Amazon. So you get what you pay for. It'll be just fine until it breaks. When it breaks, we'll get on the hunt for maybe a better one.
So I've got me some bacon grease in my pan here. This is the pot that I'm going to make my beef stew in, so this is what I want to brown my meat in. I'm going to take some of my cubed up stew meat. And you'll probably have to do this in batches so you don't cool off your pan too much. We're going to go ahead and let that be browning. It's an old dreary day kind of today, so I figured it'd be a good time for some beef stew. I hadn't cooked any in a while. I'm not too terribly concerned with it getting done. I just want it kind of brown on the sides. Now that our beef's all brown, we're going to throw in some minced garlic. I did like 7 cloves because I really like garlic. And a small minced onion. Now, of course, that can be adjusted to your taste. Y'all know I cook for a picky crowd, so I ain't going to put a whole lot of onion in there. And we're just going to let all that soften up a little bit in our grease. And I may have to add a little more grease, and that's fine. I don't have a lot left in there. We're also going to throw in a splash of apple cider vinegar, about a tablespoon or 2. Alright, we're going to throw our meat back in there. Now this right here was a small little roast that I cut up, so I just used whatever meat I got. So it's going to be quite a bit of meat in it, but that'll be perfect. Now we're going to sprinkle that with some flour. Whew, that's so clean. Let it kind of stick to that meat a little bit. Just like that. Alright, now we're going to pour us in a quart of tomato juice. Throw in some salt, pepper. We're going to give that a stir. I'm going to add in just about a cup of water just to kind of let that not get thick too quick, because we're going to let that cook for a little while. Now you're also going to want to add just a little sprinkle of sugar. About a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half, something like that. I'm going to put a few herbs in this. I got to go pick them, but we're going to go ahead and cover this. And we're going to let this cook around an hour, and then we'll add our veggies.
While I got the old tractor out and working on it, next thing I'm going to replace is this. This cluster actually works. All the gauges work, everything on it works, but the hour meter does not work. See how it says we got 916 hours? I can tell you this tractor's got far more than 916 hours on it, but I don't really care about the hour meter and knowing how many hours are on it. It's more or less, I just like it to work so I can know how often I need to service everything and all that. And it's nice to know how many hours you put on something in a year. I don't expect it to be a ton on this tractor, but it's still probably going to add up quite a bit. And I don't really want to go overdo on a service. One thing I really like to do is keep everything up to date on service. You know, even though I have no idea how this thing was serviced before I got it, at least I'll know while I've had it, it's been serviced and kept up the way it should have been. So I'm going to replace that hour meter, that whole cluster right there. And guess where the new one came from? I found this thing on Amazon too. Can you believe that? Now, it's not identical to the old one that's in there. You can see the hour gauge is on the bottom of this one. I'm pretty sure this is the original cluster. If it's not the original cluster, I'm pretty sure it's a Ford cluster. Just by looking at the tack gauge and the design and everything on it, I'm pretty sure that all of this is original Ford equipment. Where this is not. You can see there's a difference between the needle right there, and everything just looks a little bit different. Like they look the same, but they look different. I have no idea how well this thing's going to work. Once again, it was me cheaping out. I found it on Amazon. It was only 99 bucks on Amazon, and everywhere else you find these clusters, and they looked identical to this one. Like, when you looked at the picture, everything on this one looked identical to the ones I seen on the tractor parts websites and stuff, and they were all like $200 and $300 bucks, where this one was only 99 on Amazon. So I don't know what kind of deal Amazon's got going on with them, but once again, it looked identical. Now, it did have some mixed reviews on it. I did see some people talking bad about this thing, and I seen some saying it worked just fine. But it's not a whole lot to replacing this. And so this is actually something that you have to watch out for when you go to buy a tractor. Especially some of these older tractors. The hour meter can be changed extremely easy. So that can make a tractor look like it's got a lot less hours on it than what it really does. So you have to know what you're looking at when you go to buy a tractor. Immediately, when I went up to look at this tractor right here, the guy said it had 916 hours on it. He didn't say anything about the hour gauge not working, but immediately, once I looked at this tractor, I knew that wasn't right, because there was wear items and stuff on here. There was stuff wore out that would not have been wore out in 916 hours. So I knew something was up with the gauge when I bought the tractor. So it's not like I bought the tractor thinking it only had 916 hours. But I'm just saying, that's something that you should really be aware of when you go to buy a used piece of equipment of any kind, because that hour gauge can be changed out. And it's not that hard to do. You have to know what you're looking at as far as the equipment goes. You can tell whether that's original or whether it's not. All it is to pulling this thing out is replacing those pulling out these 4 screws that's in the corners here, and then everything will just unplug from the backside.
So I'm gonna wander out to the garden and get me some thyme. Just give y'all a quick update here. This salad patch is kicking butt and taking names. And I'm trying to keep this stuff picked, and well, I can't pick it quick enough. Had neighbors come pick some. And it is loving it out here, loving it. My collards coming on with it. I'm gonna be able to get me a good mess of peas before long. They're looking good. I'm gonna grab me some thyme here. It don't take too much. Thyme's pretty stout. So I'll get me a few sprigs so I can easily pull those out. Look how good that looks. I threw those herbs in there just stem and all. I'm gonna pick those out before we eat it.
I know that new gauge there is definitely made out of some good metal or something, because it's heavy. So that tells me that it's made out of good stuff. It's not like some cheap plastic. I don't even know if you can. Of course, I didn't look, and I didn't call around to the New Holland place, but I'm not sure you can still buy an OEM forward instrument cluster for these tractors here. Now, I've already had this out once before, just trying to figure out if there was something back there that was unhooked for this hour gauge not to work. And it ain't nothing in there. It's all made into the cluster. So on the back of it here, this is what runs your tack. That's your tack cable. These right here are just lights that light up the screen at nighttime. That's for your fuel gauge. Over there, I believe it's that wire right there, is your temperature gauge. And then the other lights that go in, like right there's a light, and on the other side is a light. Those are warning lights. I think one's for the alternator and one's for the oil pressure. So I've just got to unhook all that and hope that it hooks into the back of that one. That's where I read some people were having troubles with, was this tack cable. Some people were saying the tack cable didn't bolt up to the new one there. So I hope it does. If the tack cable don't bolt up, then that thing's no good to me, because I'm not having one where I want everything to work like it's supposed to. Get my handy dandy Nip-X pliers I keep in my pocket all the time. Them things, that saves me. Keeping those in my pocket saves me from walking to the toolbox more than you could ever realize. Let's see, and that light there just comes out. That one just pops out. That one over there's already fell out. That one just pops out. So looks like I got this wire here. Come on. There we go. Got that wire. We've got this wire. And look at that. That wire looks like a rat or something's been chewing on it. We'll have to tape that up before we put it back. Then we've got 2 more wires here. This one's going to the fuel gauge. And this one, I'm not sure what that one's going to. So as y'all can see, I do have some differences here on the back side of this thing. So I'm not 100% sure exactly what I need to do to make this work. Because we've got this piece over here, which is above the fuel gauge. And it looks like this piece is on this side over here. That's interesting. Might just have to plug up some stuff and play around with that and see how that works, because we still got that contact there. We got that contact. It's actually hooked to that wire. Alright then. Well, there is definitely some differences here. Now this wire right here is the one I'm not sure about. Is it gonna go to that one? And the bad thing about this thing, y'all, and this was some of the reviews I read, this doesn't come with any instructions. So from what I can tell right now, my fuel gauge is not working. And it did work before with the other meter. All right then, I got some figuring out to do here. It's almost like I'm missing a wire. Oh, I am missing a wire. Okay, where the heck does that one go? Oh, look at there. Fuel gauge is working now. Oh, the dog. Perfect. So for some reason or another on this new one, this is the same piece as this one up here, and it's just mounted on the other side for some reason. That makes no sense why they done that. And I do believe that my tack cable is going to work as well from what I can see. So, as of right now, the lights are working the way they're supposed to. Fuel gauge is working. At least I think the fuel gauge is working. I'm going to have to run it to make sure that it's working. The temperature gauge, on these older tractors, the temperature gauge doesn't really move much anyways, unless you're really, really working the tractor. So I'm not 100% sure that the gauge even worked before because I've never seen it move. But this fuel gauge here, I think it's working because it was almost on a full tank. And that's what we're showing. But it's hard to say because it could also be pegged out and not working. So I'll have to run the tractor some and just see if that starts to go down, and we'll know if that's working or not. I'm gonna get me some tape and wrap up that one wire over there that's got the bare spot on it. Then we'll fire this thing up and make sure the tack's gonna work. Well, there's one thing for sure. The new piece looks good. All right, y'all gonna get to see it with me. Oops. Oh yeah. Well, there it goes. I guess the Amazon tack is a little bit delayed on its performance there. So it'll be interesting to see once I run it if the hour meter works on this thing. Yeah, it's not very responsive for some reason. So we got the oil pressure light working there. We got the alternator light working. You know, it's not running, so both of those are going to be on. I'm just not sure about that fuel gauge. I'm going to have to run that because that looks like, to me, it almost might be pegging out, like it's not registering right. But it could be just because it's full too. I mean, the thing is, for the most part, full of fuel. But I don't know. I'm going to have to check and see on that. But other than that, I guess the Amazon gauge works. We'll see for how long. And I mean, I can see some quirks about it. So the cheapness of this gauge may be showing somewhat, but as long as everything's working on it and that hour meter right there will keep up with how many hours is on it, I'll be completely happy. So, especially considering how much cheaper this one was compared to the others. I mean, we're talking $300 versus $99. That's a $200 difference. So, for a tractor that I'm not trying to like make a showroom tractor, it's just there for functionality. I think that's going to be okay as long as that hour meter works. So, time will tell on that.
Let me see what I can find. Right there is orange. Little short pack carrot. Look at that. I think I'll pull one more since he's so short. There's me another little short fat one. Those will be perfect. So I'm going to throw in the potatoes now. And now the main thing is to just let this cook until your potatoes and carrots are done. Denny Moore ain't got nothing on me. And I'd like to say thank you to the sweet viewer that sent me some wooden utensils. I have thoroughly enjoyed using them, and I just want to say thank you. And thank you to Lauren for sending me the new Ball Book of Cannon. I am so excited to look through it and compare it to the old one because y'all know how much I love the old one. So I'm going to check it out and see. The outpouring of kindness and support that we get here on the channel is honestly just, it's mind-blowing, and we appreciate each and every one of y'all. And any act of kindness, any card that you send, any thank you letter, none of it goes unnoticed. I've kept every letter that I have ever gotten from any of y'all. I've got them put away. It just means a lot.
So just for curiosity's sake, I've just left the tractor running here for a few minutes and I come back to look, and the hour meter's working. See how it's flipped to 1 right there? So I guess that's technically 1/10 of an hour that I've put on that gauge now. But that makes me feel good to know that it's working. I was just going to put it back up, and I was like, you know what? It's not going to be that hard to leave it sitting here running for a few minutes. Now I'm glad I did. I see it's working. Gives me some peace of mind.
For dessert tonight, we're going to have some peach cobbler. Very, very simple to make, and it's very good. You're going to want to set your oven on 400 degrees. I'm using frozen peaches that we grew this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simmer them a little bit. They've got their own juice in there, and I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to make this more like a syrup. For our bread mixture, we're going to do a cup of self-rising flour. Make sure it's self-rising if you're using this recipe. A cup of sugar. A cup of milk. And a stick of melted butter. Just get all that mixed together. It usually is not smooth, and that is totally fine. Sometimes I add in a little vanilla too. I think I'll do that today. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on if I think about it. Just a little. We're going to take us a 9 by 13 pan and just go ahead and pour that mixture in there. Now we like our cobblers thin. If you like them thick and fluffy, use an 8 by 8 with the same recipe. Now we're going to take our peaches and try to evenly distribute the juice, the peaches. That was a big glob of peaches. Oops. Simple as that. We're going to put that in the oven. Now I like to get mine out when it's just starting to brown on the edges here and it's bubbly in the middle. I don't wait for the whole thing to get brown. It gets kind of chewy. So, like I said, it'll still look kind of light on top, but you were looking for it to be brown along the edges here. Usually takes it like 25 or 30 minutes if I had to guess. Something like that. Keep your eye on it.
Whole time I've been working, I've heard Candy down here just a-lowing at me. And a couple of the other cows just a-moving. I'm like, wonder what's the matter with them. Well, now I see it. They're out of hay. So I reckon I'm going to put me another bale in and make the old girls happy. There's the rest of them hungry animals. Starving. Let's look at it. That one right there looks like she's gonna bust. Y'all probably see me when I close the gate. I got a little rock right up there in the corner that holds it from opening back up so I don't have to hook the chain. Well, when I don't have my automatic gate opener down here, watch this. I lift it up just enough to go over that rock. Then slowly back away from the gate. And I don't have to get off and up the gate. I still obviously have to get off the first gate, but what do you think about that? That's a lazy man's way of getting the gate open.
My finished peach cobbler. It looks fabulous.
Don't that look good?
I think so.
Hold your bowl over here. One of them sandwiches yours?
Yeah, one of them's got 2 pieces.
Which one?
I think it's yours is the browner one.
Oh, this one's yours?
I think so. And we're eating them with grilled cheese tonight per request of Mr. Lawson.
Yeah, I can't wait to eat some of this.
We ain't had no, I ain't made no peach cobbler in a while.
No, it's been a while. I don't guess we've had one since we was getting fresh peaches.
There you go. Yeah, I guess that probably was the last time. Well, them's our peaches, isn't it?
That's what I remember you saying.
Well, guys, I guess that's going to about wrap it up for today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope you might have learned a little something. Until we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.